Cops believe the female over the male 90% of the time. This is Christina Williams with Just Criminal Law.
And David Mann, legal storytelling specialist. Well, again, the policeman shows up and hears two different stories, and you're saying that the woman is usually who's believed if there's a dispute?
Yes, it's definitely what I find with the cases that I'm involved in. It's generally, now there are exceptions, but it's generally the man who's going to get charged if there's any sort of dispute about what really happened.
Okay, so the law enforcement shows up, something has happened, and law enforcement is depending entirely on the two people that were involved in saying it. So what's an example of what what each of them might say?
Sure, I had a complete he said, she said, attempted sexual assault. And it involved a group of people. There were 4 people that worked together. They all rode to a Christmas party together. And there was a lot of drinking going on at the party. My client left the party to go take a nap in the Suburban that they all arrived in. And, like maybe 45 minutes later, one of the other people that happened to be a female came to the car as well because she had too much to drink and she wanted to kind of get away from the party, sleep a little bit. And so, as she's leaving the party, she uses the restroom. Again, she's super intoxicated. She doesn't button the top button of her pants, and she leaves her belt undone. And this is how she is when she gets into the Suburban. She crawls into the back seat.
Okay, so far, nothing is happening. I mean, like there's no assault, there's no anything happening, but it sounds like this story is going to a place where there's a claim of that. Is that right?
Yes, and for some unknown reason, really, it was never explained. We'll never know, but she, maybe gets claustrophobic or something, but she starts to have a panic attack in the back of the vehicle, and she's just like screaming, "Let me out," hitting the window, and it's all pretty alarming conduct to my client, and she ends up calling the police for help.
Okay.
Yeah, the police respond to the Suburban in the parking lot outside of the Christmas party, and they start trying to piece together what happened.
All right, so they show up, and then what does both of them say?
Well, she's upset, she's crying, they're trying to calm her down, and they notice that her belt's undone and her top button's undone, and they ask her, did he try to hurt you? Did he and plant this seed in her head, and then all of a sudden she's running with this story of yeah, I think he tried to assault me. And my client is adamant, I was trying to sleep, I was in the middle seat, I didn't touch her, none of this happened, and is just, trying to explain away what happened, that, it wasn't an assault. And ultimately, the police end up arresting him for an attempted sexual assault.
Wow. So, it is a cultural stereotype that the man is the more aggressive if it's a man and a woman. Of course, that's not always true. Are the police actually trained to see it that way?
Yes, I mean their training is definitely trying to make sure that the woman feels comfortable reporting. That she doesn't feel embarrassed about her conduct, about being drunk, about whatever the case may be. And they really do coddle or suggest, a storyline to a woman who maybe was really too intoxicated to know what went on, but they're always suspicious in this type of scenario that a man is going to be assaulting a woman.
And then the arrest is made, and then he needs a lawyer, and it might go to trial where both sides of the story get to be told, but it's still risky that he's going to end up convicted for this, right?
Absolutely, because anytime you start a trial where your client's accused of a sexual assault, the jury, they are very suspicious that he did something. And it's really a hurdle that you have to get past and, try to at least get them to listen and be receptive to the possibility that he didn't do something. And in this particular case, we had to go to trial, and what ultimately saved the day was when the alleged victim was on the stand. She'd been prepped by the prosecutor. She'd made a statement to the police that she reviewed. She took the stand as if she recalled perfectly all the all of the events of the evening that had transpired, when in fact she was highly intoxicated. But as she was telling or recounting what happened, she claimed that my client leaned over the seat, in the middle seat, and was attempting to unbutton her pants, and as he's in the middle row of the Suburban seat. And she said she ended up using his phone to call 911. And so as we're trying to figure out how she was able to get his phone, she said, well, as he was leaning over to assault me, the phone came out of his front pocket. And, there was body camera footage of him being interviewed right after the alleged incident. And that body camera captured that he was wearing a t-shirt and it did not have a front pocket. And so, I was able to confront her with this fact that she said, that she remembered so clearly, and really, called into question that she wasn't able to really report with any amount of certainty that he was attempting to sexually assault her. And but she was testifying very firmly that this is exactly what happened. And that's just not how it works in a criminal case. The jury needs to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that someone is guilty, and in this case there was real doubt, and my client was found not guilty.
Well, if there is a man listening to this who needs his story told, he might need to get a hold of you, and how might he do that?
We'll include a link in the description where you can call, text, or chat with a member of my team anytime, day or night. Here at Just Criminal Law, we know you only get one shot at justice, so make yours count.